everybody, and welcome to IELTS Learning Tips videos. And today I have another video for you, which is called, Are You Paying Too Much IELTS Tax? Now that might sound like a slightly intriguing title, but I think a lot of people do pay a lot of IELTS tax. And I want in this video to explain what that means, and then you can see whether in fact you are actually affected by this issue. So for those of you that may not know me, if this is your first video, I am an IELTS trainer and teacher. I've been working with IELTS students for over 20 years. I was also at one time an IELTS examiner, and my work helps students, especially those who've taken the exam a few times. So generally, my students that I work with have taken the exam maybe 3 or 4 times, and they don't know how to change their situation. So we look at what's going wrong, what's stopping them, and then how they can turn that around. And I have to say, most of my students, I would say over 80% of them, get the scores that they want and improve their English skills really a lot, so that many of them in some parts of the test get much higher than they actually want. So it's through looking at these problems and what's causing them that you can turn it around and then make sure you get the band that you're looking for. Okay, so let's move on and talk about the IELTS tax that many of you, I think, are probably paying. So what I mean by IELTS tax is what it's costing you to not get the score that you want. So to not get the band 7 or band 8 that you want in order to do what you want to do in your future, whether that be going to university, whether it be migrating with your family, or whether it be improving your career prospects or moving your career forwards. So the longer it takes to do that is a cost. And so I want to explore what that cost is with you today, and try and help you to see why it's important not to keep paying that, not to keep being taxed, if you like, at that with that IELTS tax. So first of all, I want to tell you about 3 students. And all of these 3 students were preparing for IELTS. So these are 3 students that I met. All of them had taken the test 3 times, and they were all feeling very frustrated because their scores were not really getting to the levels that they wanted. They all wanted a mix of 7s and 8s in the exam, and they needed that to do what it was that they wanted to do. So 2 wanted to go to university, and they had deferred their university places not once but twice already. The 3rd one was looking to move to Canada to pursue their career there and provide a new life for family. And I know when you're emigrating to these countries, there are age deadlines. So when you reach a certain age, then the number of points you require increases. And so this student was getting to a stage where they didn't have many more years to do this. And so he was getting quite worried that he would miss the opportunity. And guess what was stopping all of them to do this? Of course, it was only their IELTS. Everything else was in place. They had places at university, and they had everything else that was required to move to Canada. So the one block was the IELTS. Okay, so let's have a think about the situation of these 3 students. And it's quite possible that some of you are also in this position. So the 2 postgraduates had they got their exam the first time they took it, or even the second time they took it, would have already completed their courses. They would have got their master's degrees. They would have been working now with the salary that they were looking for. This was the plan right at the beginning. However, instead, they were still sitting at home and still studying for IELTS, and they hadn't managed to achieve that ambition. For the third student who was looking to migrate, he could already have been working there with the good salary for his level of expertise. His family could already have been settled in Canada, and the children could have been in school in Canada and would have already been well into their Canadian education. But it didn't happen, or it hadn't happened yet, should I say. So for 3 years of waiting to get the band, putting their lives on hold, treading water. I don't know if you know what that means, but it's if you're swimming and you're not actually moving, you're just staying in one spot. That's called treading water. So it's something you do if you are in water and in danger of drowning. So in order to stop yourself drowning, you have to keep moving your legs to keep you above the water. This is called treading water. And it's an interesting analogy because actually all of this waiting, taking the exam again and again is actually treading water. It's, you know, if you don't come up and swim, then you're going to drown and your dreams will be lost. So 3 years of what I call IELTS tax. So how much does it actually cost, this waiting game? So it's a loss of educational opportunity. It's a loss of salary. So if you do an opportunity cost, and those among you that kind of know about finance and accounting, there are opportunity costs when things don't happen. So the opportunity cost for these students was 2 or 3 years of Canadian or Australian or even in their own country, an improvement in salary. So 2 or 3 years of more salary, 2 or 3 years of not getting further along the career path. Maybe a lack of promotion, because had they been in the right place at the right time, they may well now have been promoted to a higher level. So that's another cost that they are bearing. So it's a kind of tax that everybody pays every time they take the exam and then don't get the score and have to wait even longer to do it again. So you delay your plans and it costs you time. It costs you a lot of time. It costs you money, and it also costs you a lot of opportunity too. So that's the answer. Okay. So number one, don't take it until you're ready, because that will then save you 2 things. It will save you money, but it will also save you some anxiety. Students I work with who are serial test takers, that means they take the test over and over. Every time they don't get the score, they immediately book another test. They are serial test takers, and there is an awful lot of anxiety and heartache associated with that. And I have found with the few students I've had who insisted on booking test after test after test, that the first test they took was the best score, and the scores started to go down. So don't keep taking tests. Take it when you're ready. If unfortunately you don't get it, leave a little space and then take it again. But don't keep taking it over and over and over, because it doesn't do your psychology any good. Be realistic. When I say to students, if they don't get the score they want, why do you think you didn't get it? Nearly always they have an idea. They'll say, well, I should have done more writing, or I didn't really practice the reading enough, or I didn't speak enough. They usually know why that score hasn't come out where they needed it to be. Sometimes it's just unfortunate and something goes wrong on the day and there's very little you can do about it. But I would say 95% of the time, students know why they haven't got that score. And usually it's a lack of readiness. Okay, so this is important. If you practice and you prepare and you take the exam and you don't get the score you want, you have to look at your practice and preparation. What did you do or not do? Did you do enough? Don't just go back and do the same again, because doing the same again will give you the same result. So you have to make a decision to do what you need to do. So if you know that your writing is not good, if you're getting below your score 2 or 3 times, there's a problem with your writing. It's got nothing to do with the exam. It's got nothing to do with IELTS. It's the fact that your writing is not up to whatever band you want. And the only way you can fix that is by going to get somebody who knows what they're doing to check it for you and say, right, you're doing this, 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 that's keeping your score down. Or you're not doing this, 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 and that's what's keeping your score down. And a good IELTS teacher will always be able to tell you that. And I put emphasis on good, because people who speak English or people who just happen to get 7, they will not be able to tell you how to turn it around, because that is something that teachers train to learn how to do. Okay, be prepared to invest. I know you all invest a lot of time, but sometimes the answer might be to take a course. And if you are really serious about doing this quickly, if you don't want to wait another year or 2 years, then it might be the time to invest as much as you can to get somebody to help you. And if you're not prepared to invest and you want to just keep going, then you have to decide that maybe it might never work. And you might have a more peaceful life if you just abandon it and try and do something different. So don't spend 3 years figuring it out. It's not a good use of your time or your money for that matter. So I'm offering to help you. The 3 students that I mentioned in this video are my students that I'm working with now. And they are all doing very well. They're all working hard. They all know what they're doing, and they all have a program and a plan. And they know each week which bit of IELTS they need to focus on to improve their scores. And I can say that all of them are now around band 7 and band 8 with all of the parts of the IELTS. And we just need to make sure everything comes up to the right level before they book their test. And that's something I do. I talk to them about what needs to happen before they book their test. And then at the moment, we are looking with all of them at possibly a January date. And I'd like to help you too, if you want me to. I mean, I'm sure you can find other teachers as well, and that's absolutely fine. But what I really don't want is for you to spend 3 years trying to figure this out, because that really is the IELTS tax. Money, opportunity, and time is all being wasted for the length of time that you don't get this sorted. So if you want to talk to me about your IELTS, then please just make contact and I'll arrange something with you so we can speak about it. And then we can work out the plan that's going to work best for you, and we'll get you to your score. So just contact me and I will tell you how we can meet. And then in the call, when we speak, we can look at your situation, look at where you are, look at where you need to be, and then put in place a plan that will help you to get there as quickly as possible. Okay, so please contact me if you want my help with this. As I said before, I really like talking to students and helping them to overcome these challenges. But I want you all to stop paying IELTS tax, get your scores and move on with your future. Okay, so thank you for watching. The details to contact me are on this page. So that's all you need to do. And then I will show you how we can make the call and take it from there. Okay, thank you. And I'll see you all in the next IELTS video. Bye, everybody.